Taking a mini vacay to New York City for 3 days. Weather forecasts look good, but now it's turned pretty dismal. So we'll see what happens. We're going to start with the train from Hudson down to New York City to Penn Station. Plan to walk and not do Ubers because the Ubers take longer than walking and cost a lot of money now. So we're going to walk everywhere. Plan to do the MoMA, go to see Hamilton on Broadway, and maybe Intrepid Museum on the water, and some other things, and just relax and eat some food. So you can do New York on a budget, and there are lots of food bars in these delis where you can just get what you want. They make an inexpensive breakfast. You can do it for $10 or $12 a meal, and good food and lots of it. So that's not the problem. And getting around, if you're willing to walk, you can be centrally located. You can get to most places. And then you can take the subway if you really want to. So that's what we're doing, keeping it on the low. And you'll see what we did. As a person on the spectrum, and who's also experienced trauma in my life, it's important to keep moving forward. In other words, the past can drag you down. Many kids on the spectrum encounter social problems in schools, at home, and it's easy to get for your self-esteem to make you feel like you're worthless and you can't do it. What I've learned is that I'm not unique as I think I am, and that most people have these kind of problems. I hesitate to say fake it till you make it, but we do need to do that as young people on the spectrum. We have to just go in and act as if, and then find mentors, kids who will show you the way, and other adults who are my mentor. My mentor right now is my ex-wife's mother, my mother-in-law, who died at 100 years old. And she was not a very pleasant woman when she was before 70, let's put it that way. But those last 30 years, I saw this woman transform into like Mother Teresa. She had the ability to move forward in her life and create the kind of love and compassion and understanding around her, and a really great example for my children, my daughters and my son. And I decided I need to be Mickey, Carpenter, that was her name. I need to be her. I need to be her as I'm older. Be always ready to get up and move and try something new. I'll have this zest for life and this compassion and be able to talk to people and listen to them and do all these things. So as a person on the spectrum, we need to find mentors for ourselves. They're not going to just come to us. And we need to emulate the characteristics that we really like in them. It's never too late to start. You know, I'm 75, so, and I know I'm looking pretty good for 75, but I am 75. And so now I get to do this the rest of my life. Ciao for now. This is our rainy, cold 3 days in New York. What a mess. It hasn't changed at all. Okay, here's my critique of Hamilton. I think for most people might enjoy it, but for me, nada. Just, I don't like hip-hop to begin with, and it's sort of poorly rhymed, sort of stretching things into history and politically correct stuff. And it just felt overbearing, to tell you the truth. There was a couple nice songs that the female leads sang. The rest of it was just people yapping, very loud. So I didn't like it, and we left at intermission actually, even after paying a ton of money for those tickets. So think twice, especially if you're on the autism spectrum. I mean, the chairs were so small, my knees were pushed up against the wood in front of me, and they hurt for a whole day afterwards. And then the other problem was the absolute amount of people and noise. The hip hop is just not, it's really hard to discern what they were saying. And I don't know, it was painful. When I got out of the theater, I just enjoyed walking around the city. And it was a big lesson because those tickets were mucho dinero. So think twice about it if you're going. And like I said, 70% of people probably love it. But for anyone like me, no way, Jose. Thank you. Today I'm going to show you how I take some tree bark. This is pine bark. These are pieces that I haven't done anything with yet. Here's one I did today. This is about 20 minutes to do this. It's a little waterfall in the woods with rocks coming down a stream. And all I did was use some watercolors, and I'm going to use some plastic spray to seal this. This is one that's complete and in a frame. And you can see how that looks. It's sort of like another scene in the woods. And came out pretty good. Guess what? I have a couple health tips for you this week. One is to savor your food, eat small bites at a time. I did it once with an orange and it took me an hour to eat the orange. And if you do that, it really learn to appreciate it, plus a good way of losing weight. Another one is to get up from your TV or your computer every half hour and just stretch out a little bit. Just get in the habit of standing up and just stretching out a tiny bit. It's really good for your body and your movement, muscles, not to sit that prone for that long. Another one, play a card game with someone, just any game, Uno, whatever. And lastly, do something silly, like make a silly face. Go in the room and dance by yourself in your closet if you're too embarrassed to do it in front of someone else. Okay. The quote of the day is, all questions and all answers are intelligent. Because if you never ask the question, you don't know the answer. And if you're not willing to try and keep asking questions, when we have our students with learning differences in autism come to our centers, we say to them, listen, your job is just to ask questions. And even if you ask the question 9 times already, don't be afraid, especially your first couple weeks here, to even ask it, because we understand that some people process differently at different speeds. And so don't be afraid to ask the question over and over until you understand it, because that would be really stupid, right? To pretend like you understand it. Oftentimes when I lecture, some psychologists will say some term like some they don't even know after being in the field for 40 years. And I'll say, what is that? Or I don't remember what that is. Because the only thing worse than looking stupid is being ignorant, right? And not learning what it is or remembering what it is that you need to know. So just don't be afraid to ask questions. And every answer you make is intelligent. Well, our short trip to New York is over. Enjoyed it. It's not what normal people would do, but it's what we did. And to hasten our trip out of the building here, we're on the 21st floor. We just had an earthquake, 4.8 on the Richter scale. So, adios muchachas. See you next time.